Sean, let's talk about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Hey guys, and welcome to another review from Rule Thirds. Today we're talking about a very controversial movie ever since its inception, pretty much. We're talking about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the 2014 reboot produced by Michael Bay and directed by Jonathan Liebsman. I want to start out, Sean. Are you a Turtles fan at all?
No, I'm not. I'm not familiar, but I have a sword. But that's just because I'm a Katana fan. So it's funny. You'd think, yeah, I've got the sword. I'm a big TMNT. No, just a katana. And katanas are cool. So yeah, I have no experience with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
And same here. I'm not actually into the Turtles at all either. Not when I was a kid, not now. So with that said, Sean, what's the first word that you think of when it comes to this movie?
If there's one thing that I can undeniably say about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, it is that it is a movie. And that's that. It is a film. It is a series of images projected in rapid succession to create the illusion of movement, often accompanied by a synchronized audio track. That would about sum it up.
And I would say, I would also agree that it is a movie, and I would add to it, a below-average movie. I wasn't a huge fan of TMNT. Were you, John?
No.
Oh.
This movie is, like, completely standard, and, like, there's nothing new about it. Like,
yeah,
like, I can't put it any other way. We've seen it before. I'd seen this movie before. It seems like every plot point is from something else, and it's all pretty predictable. You know, nothing jumped out as brilliant. You know,
but nothing jumped out as, oh my god, this is so awful to me, at least.
Yes, same here. Good. I'm glad we agree on this, because a lot of people are tearing it apart, and I'm like, really? It's.
Yeah, I will say, I did like, and I know a lot of people are kind of against this right now, I did like how they connected the Turtles and April O'Neil to, like, an earlier time. I like that because it never seems like, at least from my perspective, from just the original franchise, like, there's never really been much, like, a connection between April and the Turtles.
Right.
And while that's all done usually with, you know, with all good intentions, you don't have to connect every character, it does kind of, like, feel a bit empty between them. Like, oh, here's a human, 4 turtles. It's
I would agree. Actually, that was my favorite thing about the movie, which is saying something, is how they connected April O'Neil with the origins of the Turtles and Splinter. I thought that was actually a really nice touch. And, of course, the fanboys would be crying about it. I don't care. It was a good change.
But I will say, even if they connected April O'Neil and the Turtles pretty well, April O'Neil herself was not fun to watch.
Yeah, see, what's funny is, like, when I was watching, I was like, hey, she's doing things, this is interesting, she's got this. But I realized that it's mostly because my standards are so lowered with anything Michael Bay related and female characters. I think the only reason I was giving the character credit is because I had lower standards. Like, yeah, she's meh.
Yeah, I thought she was awful. Honestly,
really
like,
awful.
I like her. I kind of like how her character was built. I like how she was, trying to not be like the generic female reporter. Like, she wanted to actually get some investigative journalism done. But man, she was overdoing it. It was just, she never really seemed into it. I don't know. It didn't really convey the message to me. Of course, April O'Neil is the human character, and though she's given a lot of screen time, I will say the Turtles were a lot of fun to watch. A lot of fun. And personally, I don't know about you, Sean, I didn't mind the designs, honestly.
First, I will say that the designs were much less ugly than they appear to be. So if you're, like, watching the trailers and you're like, I don't want to look at them for 2.5 hours, that kind of, like, either you get used to it or it gets better, I don't know. But I actually thought the Turtles were meh as well. I didn't find them enjoyable to watch, I didn't find them unenjoyable. Like, that's pretty much the theme of my entire review. It was there. Now, the Turtles I thought were meh. The one character I was like, that's awesome, strangely enough, was Shredder, the villain. Like, I just loved how he looked and how he fought. Yeah, he's awesome. But he's not in it that much. He's in it more than I thought. Like, I suspected it would take forever to get him in the suit and to fight. No, he's fighting pretty much from the get-go. And that was fun. He was really fun. I love the design. It is super over the top. That's why I liked it. But yeah, he was really cool. Also, Will Arnett is wonderful, but this movie did not use its Will Arnett well. It did not.
However, I will say, if anything in this movie is awesome, it's the entire Snow Mountain action scene.
Yeah, I guess the mountain sequence is the best now that, like, I have to think about it, but that doesn't really mean anything. I felt the action was okay, it was pretty standard, some cool moments, and the rest just, it kind of happened, and I do think a bit too much shaky cam on the action.
Yeah, I mean, again, we're trying, I want to say something awesome, or I want to say something awful about this movie, and I just can't. I mean, I can, but I just won't, because the movie never asked me to. The movie never told me, hey, you should be really excited, or you should be really, like, pissed off about this.
Right. That's something weird. Like, I was watching this movie, and I was thinking, am I bored? No. Am I engaged? No. It was like this weird middle ground. Like, I was entertained-ish?
So yeah, you can kind of get a vibe for how we're feeling here. So, Sean, what's your final word on this kids movie reboot thing?
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, as I suspected, is just the epitome of the franchise/reboot era. And I don't mean that in the good way or the bad way. Again, it's a completely meh film. It hits every note you'd expect given its context. It just exists. That's the most I can say. It just exists. It doesn't get anything out of me emotionally either way. Though from a quality standpoint, I have to lean on the negative side, obviously. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles gets a 4 out of 10.
Honestly, I can't really summon that much energy over Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It's completely disposable, lacking in pretty much everything, but never really dipping into a pool of true badness. It's the quintessential generic blockbuster of the franchise age, and it gets a 4.5 out of 10.
Alright, we're both just a bit under average. That's fair.
Yeah. I guess we're pretty much agreed. This movie is... we don't really think it's worth your time.
No. Also not worth your hate, though. So, take that for what it's worth.
So, yeah, not exactly fond of this movie, but, nothing really, really, like, seething anger or anything like that. But, next time, we're gonna talk about a movie that might leave us a bit more emotional in many ways. And we're talking about Sin City, A Dame to Kill For. And if I'm not mistaken, that'll mark the return of Mr. Larry Freed. So join us in a few weeks for that. Yeah, but until next time, my name is Max.
My name is Sean. I'm used to 3. I'm sorry. I'm used to 3 of us.
And thanks for watching.